Centuries of migration forced Jewish communities to master efficiency, crafting furniture that was easy to assemble, disassemble, and transport in record time. But is there any truth to this, or is there any supernatural ability? Is it simply an exaggerated myth, or is there something deeper, something hidden in history, culture, and tradition that explains this efficiency? Adapting to change, building resilience. Imagine having to pack up your entire life and move fast, not just once, but again and again. That was exactly the reality for many Jewish communities throughout history. Can you picture it, leaving your home, your friends, everything familiar, and starting over somewhere new? It's a tough thought, right? Constantly moving made Jewish people masters of adaptability. They couldn't hold bulky furniture, so they got creative, designing simple, sturdy pieces that were easy to assemble and disassemble. Kind of like IKEA before IKEA. Ever struggled with furniture assembly? Now imagine doing this in a new place over and over. They developed clever ways to join pieces of wood together without lots of nails or glue, making their furniture both sturdy and portable. What kind of furniture would you design if you knew you might have to move at any moment? Share your ideas in the comments. Hands-on skills were made wandering past. Ever try to build something without the right tools? It's frustrating, isn't it? Now imagine having to build a whole house, or at least furnish it with limited resources, and knowing you might have to move again soon. That was the challenge faced by many Jewish communities throughout history. And they rose to the occasion. This constant need to move and rebuild made them incredibly resourceful. They learned to make the most of what they had, becoming masters of joinery techniques. Think of joinery like puzzle pieces fitting together. And mortise and tenon constructions are like super strong puzzle pieces for wood. They allow you to connect pieces of wood without relying heavily on nails or glue. Have you ever really seen an old piece of furniture that's still sturdy? Chances are it still uses some of these clever joinery techniques. These techniques weren't just about making strong furniture. They were also about making furniture that was easy to take apart and put back together. It was like having a set of building blocks for your house. This practical approach to design became a hallmark of Jewish craftsmanship. They weren't just building furniture, they were building resilience, adaptability, and an elegance of clever problem solving. More than just wood, a culture of getting things done. It's not just about wood, though. Jewish culture also plays a big role in this knack for efficiency. Think about it. Have you ever had a really busy week where you would have to get everything done by a certain time? It's kind of like the Shabbat, the Jewish day of rest. Everything, cooking, cleaning, setting the table has to be finished before sundown on Friday. It's like a weekly deadline. This tradition teaches everyone, especially kids, the importance of planning ahead and managing time wisely. You'll learn to prioritize tasks, organize your time, and get things done efficiently. It's not just about following the rules, it's about learning valuable life skills. And these skills aren't just useful for preparing for Shabbat. They come in handy for everything, including putting together that tricky piece of furniture. Many hand makes light work. Ever tried to move a heavy couch by yourself? It's tough, right? But with a few friends, it becomes much easier. That's the power of teamwork. Jewish culture really emphasizes working together. Think about studying. Instead of just reading alone, many Jewish students learn in pairs. Discussing ideas and helping each other and understanding. It's like having a study buddy. This teamwork isn't just for school work, it's also a big part of everyday life. Preparing for holidays, for example, often involves lots of cooking and cleaning. Families work together, dividing tasks and getting everything done more efficiently. And this same spirit of collaboration extends to practical things like assembling furniture. Instead of struggling alone with confusing instructions, people often ask for help from family or friends. After all, two heads are better than one, and many heads make light work. Problem solving, a skill for life. Ever built a fort as a kid? It was fun, right? Well, imagine building a whole shelter every year. That's what Jewish families do for the festival of Sukkot. They build temporary shelters called sukkahs. It's a hands-on project that teaches valuable skills. Think about it. You have to plan the design, measure the wood, cut the pieces, and then put it all together like it's a giant puzzle. This tradition teaches families how to tackle a big project by breaking it down into smaller steps. It's not just about following instructions, it's about learning how to think logically and strategically. These skills aren't just useful for building sukkahs, they come in handy for all sorts of projects, from assembling a bookshelf to fixing a leaky faucet. Connecting the old ways to today. So, even though most people buy their furniture ready-made these days, these old skills and values are still relevant. Think about it. Have you ever seen someone who just seems to be naturally good at organizing things or fixing stuff around the house? Maybe they grew up in a family where everyone pitched in and learned practical lessons. It's the same idea. Even if they don't build furniture for themselves, many Jewish individuals carry values of efficiency, practicality, and teamwork. These aren't magic tricks, but lessons learned from family and community, resourcefulness from making the most of what they had, and teamwork through family projects. It's all about making life work smoothly. Modern uses ideas for everyone. Okay, so you might not be building a sukkah every year, but these ideas about clever problem solving can still be super helpful in your everyday life. Think about it. Have you ever started putting together something without reading the instructions first? It can be a disaster, right? So tip number 1, plan it out before you even touch a screw or a hammer. Read those instructions carefully and lay out all the pieces. It's like getting your game plan together. Before you start playing, trust me, it'll save you a lot of time and frustration later. And speaking of frustration, who hasn't struggled with a tricky piece of furniture? Tip number 2, team up. Don't be a hero and try to do it all yourself. Ask a friend, a family member, or even a neighbor for a hand. 2 people can often put things together much faster than one. It's always more fun. Plus, if you get stuck, you'll have somebody to brainstorm with. Sometimes, even with help, things can still be challenging. So, tip number 3, take it slow. If you're facing a tough task, don't get overwhelmed. Break it down into smaller, easier steps. It's like eating an elephant. You do it one bite at a time. This way, you'll make progress without getting discouraged. And what if the instructions don't make sense or you're missing a part? Tip number 4, think creatively. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. Maybe there's another way to do it, or perhaps you can use something else to solve the problem. Being resourceful is a valuable skill. Finally, tip number 5, embrace teamwork. Working together isn't just about getting things done faster, it's about making the whole process more enjoyable. When you collaborate with others, you can share ideas, learn from each other, and have a good laugh along the way. So next time you're tackling a project, remember these tips, and don't be afraid to ask for help and get creative. The story of craftsmanship. The story of Jewish furniture assembly shows the power of adapting, being clever, and having strong cultural values. It shows necessity can drive innovation and how traditions can shape how we approach problem solving. It's not about magic or superpowers. It's about a mix of practical skills, cultural values, and a way of thinking that prioritizes efficiency and working together. Beyond furniture, the warmth of tradition. But the story of Jewish efficiency goes beyond just furniture. Think about how Jewish communities have tackled other challenges, like staying warm in a world without central heating. They used ingenious methods like water jackets on stoves and carefully planned Shabbat meals to keep their homes warm and their traditions alive. These are practices that weren't just practical. They were a way to connect with their history and their community. The heart of the home. Imagine a time before central heating, microwaves, or even electric stoves. How did people stay warm during freezing winters? How did they cook their meals? The answer lies in one of the most important parts of any Jewish home, the hearth. More than just a place to cook, the hearth was the heart of the household, a space where warmth, nourishment, and togetherness thrived. Shabbat, planning ahead for warmth and rest. Shabbat, the Jewish day of rest, presented a unique challenge. Lighting fires was forbidden, so families had to be resourceful in maintaining warmth and preparing food in advance. They used clever techniques like slow cooking stews overnight and were using insulated containers to keep food warm. This careful planning wasn't just about following religious laws. It was all a way to create a peaceful and meaningful day of rest. Water jackets and other clever inventions. Jewish communities also developed ingenious heating solutions like water jackets on stoves that provide hot water for various needs. These innovations show a deep understanding of how to use resources efficiently and sustainably. The importance of community. These traditions also highlight the importance of community. Families often work together to prepare for Shabbat and share meals around the hearth. This sense of community provided not only practical support but also emotional warmth and connection. Lessons for today. These ancient practices offer valuable lessons for us today. They remind us of the importance of planning ahead, using resources wisely, and working together. They also remind us of the power of tradition and the importance of creating a sense of community. Like and share if you found this exploration of Jewish efficiency fascinating. If you're curious about how Jewish communities mastered heating without modern utilities, check out our video on what are Jewish methods for heating without modern utilities. Then don't forget to subscribe for more.